Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, you know, we've been talking a lot about Democrats tackling some of their biggest voting demographic issues, and two at the top of the list are religious voters and young men. And well, we know Democrats have been putting a whole lot of money, millions upon millions of dollars, to try to find the best strategy, the way to speak to these people. And well, the Democrats think they've found their secret weapon, actually tackling both demographic issues with a single face, you know, two birds with one stone. Yeah, we've got this new Democrat plant popping up everywhere. James Tallarico, a so-called devout Christian Democrat. The left is clearly trying to manufacture some kind of wholesome moral figure here. They're trying to present this guy as a relatable young Christian man. But not only that, as an extremely intellectual individual who's just got all the issues packed down. I mean, trust me, you're going to be seeing this kid everywhere.
I think that a lot of us become somewhat cynical about religion's role in politics. It feels like on the right, whenever I hear someone invoke the name of Jesus, they're about to recommend cutting food stamps for single mothers. And I do think on the left, there is a hostility towards religion. And you have made your faith central to your views and your rhetoric.
Jesus gave us two commandments as Christians, to love God and to love our neighbor as ourselves. Christianity has this spiritual dimension in that first commandment, to love God. And then Christianity has this political dimension because, you know, at its most fundamental level, politics is just how do we treat our neighbors? How do we treat the people we live together with in a city or a state or a country? It's why I do the work I do in the state capitol. I mean, through public policy, I'm trying to make life easier for my neighbors.
How do you feel we could possibly inject some healthy religion into our political discourse?
We all bring our moralities and our philosophies to our politics, and faith is no different. People don't want to see that you're loyal to your political party, or you're not even that you're loyal to a policy platform, but that you're loyal to something more timeless and something deeper.
That's Jessica Tarlov, who posted that video with the caption that reads, "Can we inject positive religion into politics?" Yeah, Democrats, the party of Christian bigotry, now wants to start injecting positive religion into politics. Yeah, give me a frickin' break. It's yet again another manipulation tactic, another attempt to sway voters to push some surface level crap, some identity garbage, to hopefully recoup some of their demographic losses. But anyways, this James Tallarico character is not as impressive as the Democrats are pretending, and his performance on Joe Rogan's podcast, I think, really tells the story. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. I got this one individual moment that we really got to tackle. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we've got this viral clip here, and the lefties are flooding my timeline with it. Posts like this from Democratic Wins Media. Breaking. I don't know why this is breaking, but okay. Major breaking.
We have some major breaking news. We have some major news. We have some major news. Major breaking news. We have some major breaking news. Major breaking news. Major breaking news.
Major breaking news. Democrat James Tallarico just perfectly laid out to Joe Rogan how Republicans are suppressing the vote in Texas. This is wild to watch. So they're really setting the bar high here, right? I mean, we're about to get educated by what, this 19-year-old? On the dangers and the facts relating to racist voter suppression. Yeah, let's just say it might be one of the dumbest things you'll hear all week. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Texas is probably the hardest place to vote in the country, just in terms of the paperwork, the requirements, the hoops you got to jump through.
How so, though?
There's a whole host of things. You know, the fact that we don't have online voter registration in the state, when a lot of other states do. I mean, think of all the things you do online. Voter registration is not one of them. The IDs that now count for registering to vote or voting are very selective. So, for instance, if you got a concealed carry license, that license counts as ID, which I agree that it should. But a student ID from a college or university doesn't count as an ID.
You have to get a driver's license?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to go get a driver's license. And again,
what
for
about
someone
passport?
Yeah,
work,
passport.
Right?
But again, I didn't have a passport for most of my life, right? I didn't travel outside the country till I was, you know, I was in my 30s. And so I didn't have a passport. A lot of people don't have a driver's license, especially older folks. So the point is that these rules get added on top of each other and make it even more difficult.
Now, I probably don't even need to say it, but editors, please, can we get the ceremonial facepalm? What an absolutely dense argument. He's claiming that Texas is not allowing people to use student IDs to vote, and somehow that equates to voter suppression. Oh, it's racist, fascist, evil voter suppression. I mean, that has to be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. You know, I'm 32 years old and I dropped out of school, so maybe it's been a little bit of time since I've been in school, longer than 10 years. But you know what? I distinctly remember having a student ID. And you know what a student ID isn't? A legitimate ID. I mean, student IDs are the most basic plastic cards. They're the most easily exploitable form of identification, period. The idea that a student identification is a legitimate ID to be able to vote in an election has got to be one of the most insane Democrat talking points ever. It's almost as insane as claiming that most black people cannot get driver's licenses. I mean, where do these people get these talking points in the way they present it, as if, oh, he absolutely schooled Joe Rogan on Texas voter suppression? No, he didn't. He said one of the dumbest, most easily debunked pieces of rhetoric I think I've ever heard. You know, let's just really quick rapid fire list off a couple issues with student IDs. Number one, they don't prove U.S. citizenship. You can be a foreign national attending an American university, and guess what? You get a student ID. They also don't confirm legal residency in the state, which, ding ding ding, is required to vote in local and state elections and presidential elections. Another problem is they're issued by the schools and not the government. There's no consistent standards or vetting process. And just referring to my experience with student IDs, they don't exactly have a lot of information on them. Some people don't even have their legal name on them. On a lot of these IDs, you don't have a date of birth. There's no expiration date. I mean, they're basically employee badges. That's like saying, hey, I work at Facebook and they gave me a little Facebook card. That should be legitimate ID now to go vote in American elections, even though I was born in Pakistan and I don't even have a green card. Then, of course, there's the issue that they can be easily forged. They're not tied to the voter registration systems. They don't include physical addresses on them. They aren't accepted for legal transactions or really anything legitimate. It's not like you're going to go sign up for a mortgage at the bank and they're going to say, hey, can I see some ID? And you pull out a student ID and that'll be totally good. And obviously, allowing student IDs as a legitimate voter identification, well, it opens the door to ding ding ding, voter fraud, making it a whole lot easier for ineligible individuals to cast a ballot. But I mean, that's the big gotcha, right? That's the big dunk on those fascist Republicans. But boy, was this a poorly formulated argument, especially making the argument that it's somehow outrageous that you can use a Texas firearms license to vote in Texas elections, but you can't use a student ID. Well, let's tackle that now, shall we? We spoke about student IDs. Well, now let's compare student IDs to Texas firearms licenses. Actually, maybe I can get a template example that'll help us make a visual comparison here. Here are a couple examples that I found just from a simple Google search, and would you look at that? It's a legitimate ID, you can tell right away. You've got all kinds of information and you've got security measures baked into the printing and manufacturing of the card, and that's because a Texas firearms license is a government-issued ID which is verified through official state systems. It requires fingerprints, a background check, a proof of residency, and of course ensuring that the holder is legally in the state. Not to mention, only U.S. citizens or lawful residents can get one. It includes a photo, a date of birth, an expiration date. It's tied to your legal address and identity. In other words, it's a real identification. It's such a basic standard. A driver's license, a passport, a firearms license, a birth certificate, you name it. Bring a real damn ID so you can participate in democracy, so you can vote. It's actually a very simple concept, and now miss me with this pseudo-intellectual, half-baked, brain-dead crap. But yeah, these are the future faces of the Democratic Party. A bunch of AstroTurf Gen Zers and millennials who clearly always lead with ideology above everything else. And Lord, do they just make the worst and most terrible arguments while sounding smart and academic. It's all smoke and mirrors, folks. It's all a presentation, but it never quite stands up to scrutiny, now does it? Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.